The journey to reclaim strength in silence. There are days when you wake up and your mind is already as noisy as a train station. Hundreds of trains of thought rush past, unresolved worries, words others once said, fears you haven't even named. You find yourself talking more than necessary, reacting more than you want, yet rarely touching what truly matters. In today's world, where noise is seen as a sign of confidence, where quick reactions are mistaken for intelligence, many men slowly lose their true strength. They are exhausted, scattered, and disconnected from their inner power. But thousands of years ago, the Stoics had already discovered a truth. Real strength does not lie in doing more, but in doing better, not in speaking louder, but in knowing when to remain silent. This is not a journey toward coldness. It is a journey back to yourself, to the place of calm, clarity, and enduring strength. Lesson 1. Thoughts are not truth. Think back to the last time a small thought ruined your whole day. Maybe someone unintentionally ignored you. Immediately, a voice in your head said, "I'm not good enough. I'm failing. Nothing will ever change." Those words felt carved in stone. But in reality, they were just passing clouds in the sky of your mind. The Stoics repeated this: it is not events that hurt us, but how we judge them. A criticism only wounds you if you believe it defines who you are. A failure only imprisons you if you allow it to become your identity. Picture the mind as a train station. Each thought is a train. One train carries regret, another carries anger, another carries fear. You can get on them, letting them drag you into exhaustion. But you also have the right to stand still, breathe, observe, and let those trains pass. A friend of mine, respected in his company for his composure, once admitted, every morning he woke up with a knot in his stomach. No event was needed, only the whispers in his mind. You're not enough. You're going to fail. For years he lived as if those thoughts were final judgment. Until one day, he read a line in Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. You can detach yourself from negative thoughts. You are not them. From then on, he changed his language. Instead of, "I am a failure," he said, "I am having the thought that I am a failure." Small as it seemed, that distance saved his life. How can you practice this? Each time a heavy thought appears, ask, is this really true? Does it make me stronger or weaker? Do I have other evidence? If not, let it go, like dropping a stone from your hand. Day by day, as you practice, you will discover a clear space in your mind, where clarity, peace, and true strength live. Lesson 2. The power of saying less. There is a paradox in life. The less you speak, the more weight your words carry. A mature man doesn't need to shout to prove himself. His strength radiates from restraint. In a meeting, I once knew a colleague few dared to challenge, not because he was harsh, but because he was different. While everyone else rushed to speak, he quietly observed. Yet when he did speak, the whole room fell silent, because he only spoke when necessary, and each word felt etched in stone. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A strong soul needs less justification." Silence is not cowardice. Silence is refusing to let the ego control you. It is the conscious choice. I don't need to win every argument. I don't need to answer every provocation. I don't need to prove my worth with words. Think of the last time you reacted impulsively, only to regret it afterward. A harsh word, an unnecessary defense, an extra sentence that should have been left unsaid. Words, once spoken, cannot be recalled. Silence, on the other hand, never brings regret. It gives you time to breathe, reflect, and choose a wiser response. When you learn to speak less, you also learn to listen more. And in listening, you grow deeper. Others lower their defenses, sensing your presence. And you change too. You no longer speak to react, but to build. From today, ask yourself before speaking, is this true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If not, remain silent. For sometimes, a man's greatest strength is the ability to choose not to say anything at all. Lesson 3. Control what is in your hands. Life often feels like a stormy sea. Waves and winds will not obey you. But you can always steer the rudder. Raise or lower the sails. Choose to go on or to pause. The Stoics called this the most crucial division. What is within your control? And what is not? You cannot choose the cards dealt to you. But you can choose how to play them. You cannot stop someone from disappointing you, but you can choose not to let that disappointment poison your whole day. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can prevent it from defining your future. I recall a man who lost his company after 20 years of building it. He said the deepest pain was not money, but helplessness. For months he drowned in anger and blame, until one evening, he made 2 columns. Out of my control, market shifts. Partner decisions. What had already happened. Within my control, his daily habits. His discipline. His willingness to learn. His persistence to start again. From there, he rebuilt his career, this time. Not just with a business, but with a peaceful soul. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who could command armies but not fate, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So try this. Whenever a problem comes, pause and ask, which column does this belong to? If not mine, let it go. If mine, act. A small habit, but it can transform your entire life. Lesson 4. Focus on what nourishes you. The human mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant, that is what will grow. Sow resentment, you reap bitterness. Sow doubt, you reap anxiety. But sow perseverance, gratitude, and learning, and you will reap growth and peace. Some people spend their whole lives stuck in the past. A conversation long ended still replays in their heads. A mistake from last month still haunts them at night. A wound from someone who left still bleeds in memory. They don't suffer from what happened, but from feeding it every day. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul grows stronger when it focuses on essentials." Meaning, withdraw energy from what drags you backward and invest it in what lifts you up. A friend of mine once said, he was trapped for years in resentment toward a relative who betrayed his trust. But one day, he asked, "Every hour I think of them, what am I losing? I could spend that hour reading a page, exercising, writing a plan. Why let someone who hurt me live rent-free in my head?" From then, he focused on building rather than feeding the past, and his life changed. You can do the same. Each day, choose one small action in your growth zone. Read 10 pages. Train 20 minutes. Write one idea. That tiny seed, over time, will grow into a mighty tree. And when your mind is busy planting good seeds, the weeds of the past will fade. Lesson 5. Accept reality. Many men don't break under the weight itself, but under how they carry it. They resist reality, wishing the past were different, wishing someone hadn't acted that way, wishing fate had chosen another path, and they are exhausted, fighting a battle they cannot win. The Stoics taught, acceptance is not surrender, but freeing your energy from a hopeless fight. It is when you look straight at loss, failure, betrayal and say, "It happened, but it does not define me." A man once wrote me, he had spent his whole youth chasing his father's approval. He worked tirelessly, always trying to prove his worth, but his father died without ever praising him. He was crushed with emptiness, until he read Epictetus. Freedom begins when you stop begging permission to be yourself. From then, he stopped seeking the gaze of the dead and started looking into the mirror. Respecting himself. Acceptance also means releasing guilt. You have made mistakes, missed chances, caused pain, but the past cannot be rewritten. It can only become raw material to build your present. Like scars on a tree trunk, they never vanish, but they make the tree stronger against storms. Next time life doesn't go your way, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "With what I have now, what can I do?" That question opens a new path instead of locking you in a dead end. Lesson 6. Finding clarity in silence. The outside world will never be silent. There will always be new news, new alerts, new reminders. If you wait for the world to quiet down before finding yourself, you'll wait forever. So the wise create their own silence. A man once told me he couldn't stand not having a packed schedule. He was afraid of stillness. But one day, in the middle of a panic, he was forced to stop, sit in his room for 5 minutes, no music, no phone, and he cried, not from sadness, but because for the first time he truly heard his own heart. From then on, he spent 10 minutes every morning in silence, and his life changed. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal each night, not for show, but to hear himself. That silence helped him keep a steady mind while ruling an empire. Silence is not easy, because it forces you to face truth. It reveals fears, impatience, real desires. But that is where change begins. Not in the crowd, but in the quiet room. You can start with 5 minutes without devices each morning, or a walk without headphones, or 3 lines in a journal each night. This is not luxury, it is necessity. Because only in silence can you see clearly what matters, and what noise must be cut away. Lesson 7. The art of speaking less, thinking more. Most great troubles come from words spoken too quickly. One sentence in anger can destroy a years-long relationship. One rash reaction can bring months of regret. The Stoics taught, between stimulus and response lies a space. In that space lies freedom. If you fill it with silence and reflection, you master yourself. If you ignore it, you become a slave to emotion. A man once told me that after repeatedly hurting his family with anger, he set a rule for himself: always pause 2 seconds before answering. Just 2 seconds, but it saved many conversations. Because in that pause, he could choose kindness instead of weapons. Epictetus reminded, nothing shows freedom more than the ability to master your tongue. When you learn to stay silent in anger, you don't lose power. On the contrary, you gain a power others may never have: self-control. Try this next time someone attacks you. Instead of replying immediately, breathe, look at them, smile gently, and remain silent. You will see their anger lose its force. For silence is not emptiness. Silence is armor. The 3 pillars of a steady life. In the end, the Stoic journey can be summed up in 3 words. Think less, speak less, focus more. Think less about useless things, and you open space for clarity. Speak less unnecessary words, and you keep dignity and weight. Focus more on what you control and what nourishes you, and you build a life strong from within. True strength does not need display. It is quiet like roots. Yet it is roots that hold the tree steady in storms. From today, you don't need a dramatic event to change. Just begin with 1 breath, 1 pause, 1 choice, and day by day, you will see yourself transform, calmer, clearer, stronger. If there is one thing to carry with you after reading, let it be this: the world does not define you. You, in how you think, speak, and focus, create your true self. So what will you choose today? Which thought will you let go? Which argument will you stay silent in? What will you focus on to grow stronger? The answer lies within you, and the action begins this very moment.